Hey folks, a little late to the show, but a wizard always arrives when he intends to. Never late, never early. Let's see if I'm coming through live or not. And looks like, wow, that is some booming bass you got kicking there. I'm coming through live or not. And yeah, okay, so let's drop that down to nil. And hold on real quick. Do some social media posting here real quick. I'll go through our intro and we'll get to work. We're going to work on the MTG backgrounds today. We're going to continue exploring subclasses. We're going to tweak some of the martial powers and class features, specifically Ranger, Eldritch Knight, and Arcane Trickster. And let's see, what else are we going to do? Oh, and we're going to continue working on magic items. We've got about a little bit more than 2 hours to play, like 2 hours, 10 minutes, something like that, 130 minutes of playtime. So if we can get through all those things, I am prepared, though not assuming that we'll work on Spelljammer subclasses and maybe some of the guilds and kingdoms orbital system work. So we got a lot on our plates. If you don't know who I am, well, thanks for clicking in on the channel. My name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish them online. And I've been focusing my attention on building additional tools, character options, mechanics for different types of campaigns in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition since 2017. I've been a DM of Dungeons & Dragons since 1987. I've been a Magic the Gathering enthusiast since 1995, a freelance illustrator since 1999, and like I said, DMsGuild content. I've been creating 5e Magic the Gathering color magic conversion rules for use with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, or basically any system that has cantrips through 9th level and has a budget of spell slots using a D20 mechanic. That's basically the system works with any of that stuff. Hey, Rel, how you doing, guy? Good morning. Great. I got all my social media posts resolved, so I'll just wrap my intro here real quick. I'm on the X Twitter platform. If you're here as well, I'm at Phil Kearney. We have a sign up for Discord pinned at the top. We're doing some playtesting from level 3 to 10. As soon as I can get a team of 5 people assembled, we'll start playtesting. And then so here on my Twitter, there's links to be able to participate in playtests, see the different type of artwork that we've produced, early looks at different projects that we're working on, coupons and other invitations. So folks, we're gonna use this as our inspiration today for some magic item creation. This is a Orzhov Temple Guardian. They've got this cool forward sweeping wing motif on their helmets with the central eye sort of thing. They're pretty cool. It's a Ravnica thing. So this is in the Guildmasters, the Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica book that I created. Here on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when I'm live in the future. And just to wrap up everything, here is the playtest sign up link on Discord. On my Discord, you're most welcome to participate. Here's a stack of the color magic books that I've created. No, wait, this is the document that we're writing on today. Nope. Yeah, here you go. So if you click that, it takes you to my Patreon, and whether you're a subscriber on my Patreon or not, if you click the Martial Powers button, it takes you to a read-only Google Doc, and this is the document that we're using today as well. So I've got 3 tabs of it open. We're working on magic gear right now. And when we finish that, we'll work on the Ravnica, Theros, Strixhaven backgrounds to convert them to 2024 mechanics so they're compliant. I think we can simplify those a lot, and then that will help resolve the Magic Paradigm section of the Martial Powers book. So if we get through the magic stuff and we get through the backgrounds, and I want to look at the Ranger, Eldritch Knight, and Arcane Trickster again real quick. If we get through all of those things in the next 2 hours, then we'll peel open my Spelljammer stuff and we can look at the resource system for the Guilds and Kingdoms project. We can work on balancing the mana engines for the Warforged machines and there's a couple subclasses that we haven't finished yet, but we've been doing a lot of work in 5e subclass design over the past couple months, so I might be ready to tackle the rest of this. So this is Spelljammer content is on the horizon. I anticipate in December plus we'll be working. One of my design days, at least one of my design days, is going to be devoted to Spelljammer. So let's see, we've got the martial powers document here, we've got our list of powers, and we've got objects, magic items that we're creating. I think that's my full spiel. So let's get this out of the way. Yeah, this is to do that. Okay, so what we see here is basically a nagi. It's nagikama, which is a in Japanese terms that'd be a katana at the end of a 5-foot shaft. It's like a mix between a pole arm and a bladed weapon, kind of like a really cool glaive, I guess, for lack of a better word. But the this is pulling from Pact of the Shield. Actually, that's a great point. Let me point out to you that all my books are free previews, and prove it by let's click into Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica. This converts the 10 guilds of Ravnica into otherworldly patrons. So a warlock in the Ravnica setting is a guild mage that has created a pact with the guild that they're a part of. Like a Rakdos guild mage would be a Rakdos warlock that takes the Rakdos, Cult of Rakdos, there you go, the Rakdos background. We need to update this too. So once we have all of the martial powers document updated and in play testing, that gives us the breadth, the bandwidth for us to be able to start looking at updating these things as well as Spelljammer. Hey, what's up? It's nighttime for you, right on, man. It is. It's just about 10 a.m. here in Seattle, and I'll be streaming till noon today, and then we'll be back Monday morning to continue doing Eberron adventure artwork, and we'll be back Monday night to continue working on whatever tech work we're working on right now. So, like, subscribe, blah de blah. Love to have you here. Okay, great. So we had created various invocations, 30 some odd invocations. Let's see, pact boons. Back when in 2014, when boons were different from invocations, we thought it only kind of made sense that you would be able to have more than one pact. So we figured it was worth the price of an invocation. So extra pact boon, third levels when you get pact boons back in 2014. So the mechanic that we had here was you can exchange one of your invocations to gain an additional pact boon. There you go. Each time exchanging one invocation for a pact boon. When you take it again, you can also exchange a pact boon for an invocation. So they basically became invocations, which is ultimately what we saw Wizards of the Coast do for 2024 Warlocks. Pacts are now just a type of invocation, which is one of the reasons why they up the amount of invocations that you get. So I'm happy to see that Wizards of the Coast watches my channel and agrees with my design sensibilities. So God bless you. So one of the pacts that we had created was Pact of the Shield. As a bonus action, you create a shield of tangible eldritch energy that may be shaped as you wish. Like a regular shield, it provides a +2 bonus to armor class, but you don't need proficiency with shields to use it. In addition, the summoned shield does not require a free hand to equip as it hovers in your space to protect you. You can benefit from only one shield at a time. You can dismiss the shield at any time on your turn, and it disappears if you fall unconscious or die. It can also be dispelled via a dispel magic spell targeting the shield. So this one has a shield form around its glaive. So I just think that's cool aesthetics. But yeah, this is that energy shield. We also have energy shields here in the document, and it is cleverly titled Power Shield. So it's a sustained power. There's power armor and power shields, and those create basically eldritch energy shields that scale up in levels with you. So let me find them here real quick, because we're going to use that as our starting point for our Orzhov Temple Glaive, I think is what we're going to call this thing. Let's zone in on where it's at. Sustained power. Pow. There we go. Power armor and power shield. Power armor. This is a first rank sustained power. So it requires 1 point. You have to tap 1 point of mana, and depending on what your character is, that's going to depend on the color. Like if we're dealing with Orzhov, Power armor and power shield would probably be white mana powers. So you tap 2 mana, 1 mana for the power armor and 1 mana for the power shield. You can only have 1 rank worth of sustained auras active on a martial power character per rank. So at first level, you have access to first level spells or first rank. 5th level, 9th level, 13th level, 17th level, like you would expect from normal scaffolding for a half-caster, because the martial power system converts all characters into a half-casting short rest mana scaffold system. So we get 5th rank here at first. So at first level, I can have 1 rank with an aura active at a time. At 5th level, I can have up to 2 ranks of aura active at the same time. 9th is 3, 4, and then 5th. So at first rank, and here's the thing, equipment that provides a sustained aura effect, you do not have to concentrate on unless you over channel it to do something for yourself. So like if we install, let's give this thing a name. Let's call it Orzhov Temple Glaive. We're going to call it, let's call it an uncommon. There. It is 2 powers of first rank with 2 mana. So this has, if we look at our design chart, a uncommon item. So common items are 0 rank, which means like cantrips, feats, or meta powers only. Cantrip type effect, or it could have up to a +1 bonus. Uncommon item has 1 rank of power. It has 2 mana in its battery, which anyone that can channel mana can then use their own mana pool on top of the stored mana in the item, and it has a total of 2 powers. It could have a maximum of +1 bonus. So an uncommon item can have 2 powers up to first rank. Let's go with, what's the format that we're using here right now? This gold-leafed polearm is standard equipment to Orzhov marshals of 10 or more renown. So, because Ravnica uses the renown system, and basically every 2 or 3 points of renown is basically the tempo that you should anticipate having per level of character. So like you'd start with 3 renown at first level as a member of the guild, and then as you gain levels and you perform more missions, the more those missions align with the goals of Orzhov, or the more your effort as a player is to frame the activities of your team as beneficial to Orzhov. If you can create that narrative, then you gain renown in the organization, because you're demonstrating to the guild as the DM that you are furthering the goals of your guild. So as long as you can do anything that you want. You don't have to just do guild work, but if you're going to do work that helps the guild, you gain renown, and as you gain renown, you get access to more cool tools. More like for example, we talk about if you want to change, say Orzhov has access to white and black magic, and say you want to get fireball onto your magic, you only want to use white and black mana because you're using hard magic. So that means that a red spell, that you have to create a character that can operate around not having access to red spells. If you're a martial character, it doesn't matter because you're not a spellcaster. But like if you're an Orzhov wizard and you want fireball or lightning bolt on your list, you have to either learn it twice naturally as red and then again so you can bend it into the mana pool that you want, or you can research it so it's the color that you want. So you can make a white based or black based fireball or lightning bolt. Actually a white fireball that does like radiant, that looks like it's still fire damage, but it would look like a radiant explosion, and like a black mana lightning bolt it'd still do electrical damage, but it would be a black lightning bolt that eats light as it shoots by, as opposed to lighting up the room. That's pretty fucking cool. And so as you gain higher levels of renown, your renown level times 3 equals the free research that you can spend in the guild to shift the color of spells to where you want them. It doesn't cost you any money to be there. It's just time served. So if it's going to take 3 weeks for you to be able to research a 3rd level spell, and you have 3 times 3, if you have at least 9 renown in the guild, they'll let you just spend time in their archives researching how to make that magic work for you. So at the end of those 3 weeks, you automatically can just make that fireball is now a white-based spell. So you don't have to double learn it, or you don't have to cheat your way into finding it. It's just something you can cast with white mana if you're using hard magic. If you're using soft magic, your DM can decide if you have the full list of spells, and you just simply express or narrate the color of magic that you're using to align with the guild that you're a part of. Here we're talking white and black. When I throw a fireball, I just spend 3 points of mana, and it doesn't matter that it's not white or black mana and it's not a white or black spell. We're just using a soft magic system where I cast the spell and I describe that spell using the colors that I want. That black lightning bolt, like for example, is a great example of that. So I just use I just use 3 points of mana and I cast it. I don't need to have white or black mana or red mana to cast a spell. It's a soft system. But if it's a hard magic system, I have to have in my mana pool the color of the spell that I'm casting. Otherwise, I can't cast that spell. You could have a semi-hard magic system where you could have any mana, you could use any mana that you want to cast a spell, but the spell has to be in a color that is native to your guild. So in Orzhov, I would have to learn or find a way for Fireball to become white and Lightning to become a black spell for me to cast them that way. But when I do learn how to do that, I can just use, the mana doesn't have any mana color associated with it. It's just mana. And I just describe it. As long as my spells are white or black, I can cast them. But then I can just use any mana I want and just express how to cast it as I please. That's actually, for people that don't like a real hard magic system, that is a really strong narrative that builds downtime into your character's narrative and into the campaign without actually costing any money. You get free room and board when you have at least 3 renown. And in this case, renown times level of spell times 3 renown equals the level of spell or power that you can research as a specific color. So in your downtime, you're just spending time in research, or you're spending time in the gym learning how to do different powers or spells in the way that your guild would do it. So Strixhaven works this way too. You go to the university to learn how to control your mana. And so they have the 5 schools, the 5 schools, and each of those schools has 2 colors, like Quandrix is green and blue. So if you get into the Quandrix school, you start expressing everything as green and blue magic. So you just convert all your spells to mean in that format, or you just learn spells that naturally fit with them, as we've been discussing. So that's renown and how it bends into the system as a whole, which isn't actually listed anywhere in any of these books, because we're updating all these books. These are ideas that we've implemented over the years and have proven to be really effective. So I want to get them into the books so you guys can see them. And if you want to see the full list of color mana books that we already have, MTG 5 color mana spell point variant rules are online in this bundle here. There's like 6 books. Like this revised 5 color mana spell list, that's going to get integrated into the core book. So I'll probably just still leave this up as a pay what you want coupon. Basically, if you get this, it just makes everything else in the bundle cheaper, and you haven't spent any money yet. So it's a good loss leader. I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to integrate those rules into the core mechanics. We're going to update Knights and Tricksters. This is the origins of the idea. So I'm probably just going to drop this out, and then we'll update the universal spell points and high magic as just a generic spell point system. And we need to completely rescaffold the elemental keybook, so I'll probably pull this out of the bundle until it's ready to go. Spell point Warlocks we're working on. And we'll probably, then we're going to be adding the Martial Powers book to this list. And I'll probably integrate Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica into it as well. Maybe Nature's Ally. Maybe we'll put Nature's Ally in there for like a quarter or something. So anyway, that's what we're working on. So you're going to see updates to all that stuff. It's going to be super fun. Okay, great. So the way that the 1 aura per rank, right, and the gear, if you're not overclocking it, it takes care of itself. Power armor, power shield, you never need to spend more than 1 point on it. So it's always a minimal ability. So the glaive can pay for the power shield for you. So you basically get a bonus rank worth of aura for free, which is why magic gear is super useful because it lets you overclock the amount of auras you can have active on your character at once. So power armor, it's a lot like mage armor. Your armor class is 11 plus your dex modifier plus the max rank of plus your max rank of power, which we saw at 17th level gets to 5. So this would be a 16 plus your dexterity. If you were playing a rogue, for instance, if you took power armor as just like got bracers of power armor, that's the next item we'll build. If you get bracers of power armor, it's a 1 aura effect, and a rogue with a 20 dexterity would have a +5 bonus here, a +5 at 17th level for being max rank, plus the base 11, and that would give the rogue a 21 armor class 21. It's not horrible at level 17. That's okay. If you stack on power shield on top of it, you create a defensive field of power that can be wielded as a shield that you are proficient with. The shield hovers in your space to protect you, leaving your hands free. The bonus to your armor class gained from the shield is equal to 1 plus your max rank of power. You can benefit from only 1 shield at a time. So if you have 2 ranks of power active at once, power armor and the power shield, you get a total of an extra +6 to your armor class, which pushes your full armor class up to, say, a rogue, would then punt the armor class all the way up to 27. So 27 at 17th level is very respectable. There you go. Let's see. But it costs 2 ranks to do it, or you have to get some really cool gear. So power armor, power shield. Let's see, we have 1 more rank open. So the gold leaf pole arm is standard equipment to Orzhov marshals of 10 or more renown. You benefit while attuned. Copy. Paste. And wielding the weapon, you gain the following powers. Power shield. First rank. Increase AC 1 plus max rank power. Doesn't require hands to wield. Next thing, there's one more thing we want to get. Okay, so it's a glaive. I think the most natural thing to add to the glaive is going to be life-stealing strike, but that requires 2nd rank. So that means we'd have to make this, we'd have to bump this from uncommon to a rare magic item, and I can't justify that. Uncommon is cheap enough that they can supply it with shitloads of soldiers that have proven themselves, but a rare magic item, that doesn't feel economical anymore. That feels too expensive. The uncommon is 400 gold pieces. Like, Orzhov can fucking afford 400 gold pieces for a sword. Like, they can do that. So what we should probably... you know what? Martial Strike isn't a bad idea. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to go with Martial Strike. Sustain, and then... Strike. No. There. No, wait. There we go. Martial Strike. First. Hey, what is up? Could you make the power conditional? These rank 2 powers only work on characters who meet X requirement. Oh, as opposed to like say needing attunement? Is that the question? Yeah, you could make it like any character that is like for example any character that has that's in the Orzhov guild. Otherwise, it's just a plain weapon. Like that would totally work. This gold leaf polearm is standard. The reason why I put it at 10 renown with Orzhov is because it's basically a temple guardian weapon. So they wouldn't have you guarding Orzhov facilities if they didn't think you were a made man. So by like 10 renown, you're pretty made. So I think that's the argument behind it. But if you wanna add more text, like if you want to flesh out that quote to be more specific about how the mechanic would actually operate here, I'd be happy to consider it. And if it's better, if it beats my chops, I'll steal it from you. How about that? Like a scaling artifact and other rules, a civilian can use X. I see what you're saying. Yeah, you absolutely can do that. Actually, that's how the monsters are built. So, but yeah, what you're talking about is like the evolving weapon idea. Yeah, absolutely, you could do that, and this would kind of kicking myself for not thinking I should just do that. I'm creating finite magic items that fit within like what treasure's being dispersed. But you're right, you could have literally any item can have scaling to it once you get like the issue is that if you don't have the power channeling class feature, you can't use any of these powers. Like you don't know them, you can't abuse them, and you don't gain any ranks of power. But like a wizard that's a spellcaster, not a channeler, the wizard would be able to pick up a sword, and it would operate at its nominal capabilities, like its baseline capabilities. It would work, and if it allows you to, and it would, and it naturally scales up with how powerful the effects are, given the rank of power for like for example, a wizard would always be considered first rank. So the power shield option would always just be a floating shield with a +2 armor class bonus. But in the hands of a 17th level channeler, he's going to have a +5 instead of a +1. So 1 plus your max rank equals 6. So there is a scaling that's built into it. But you're absolutely right. If you're a higher ranked character, you could we could just have a scaling. You're absolutely right. Just the evolving weapon. What was it called? Legacy weapons. That's what it was called in 3rd edition. There was a whole 128-page book called Legacy. Was it Legacy Weapons? I think so. But yeah, super fucking cool. I forgot power channeling was only on marshals. Yep, you're good. Well, no, not necessarily though, because this is a great idea. So like if you because the wizard would never have access to the 2nd rank, because a wizard never gains ranks. So that's not a bad idea. Or we could do it one better. It could be that characters that channel powers don't have to attune because they channel powers. But for a non-channeler to get access to the minimum abilities of the weapon, they would have to attune to it. And if they don't, it's just for you, it's just a normal weapon. There's a lot of merit in there. This is a very worthwhile conversation. God bless you for having it with me. Excuse me for a second. And we'll just keep adding names to people that give me good ideas. You two have both consistently given me good ideas at this point. I want to give you credit in the book. Let's see. That's good. Yeah, that's a no-brainer idea. Fucking no. I mean, not everyone has to be like that, but it's such a great, it's a super great idea. Let's see. Because that effectively scales it up, like from a common to uncommon to rare, very rare. We had talked about recently that if you have a particular piece of gear that you like, when you find another magic item, you can spend a number of weeks equal to its rarity to siphon off the magical effects from one piece of gear and then infuse it onto the piece of equipment that you currently have and add it to the value. Like if you have a common magic item and you want to add a rare, like a stack of rare effects onto it, it effectively makes it a very rare magic item by combining both the uncommon, the common stuff that I already had on it, and stacking the rare stuff further on top of it. And if you take like legendary and you stack stuff on top of legendary items, they basically become artifacts. Same whatever, but you can pull energy off of one piece of gear and put it onto another, so that you're always using your favorite sword. And as you go along, you're just stealing things off of other magic items that you think are cool to infuse into your sword while it has a budget to do so. So same idea there. I just don't know why I was able to do it with monsters. Like as a monster increases in CR, it gets more and more powers that it can use against you, and more action economy to do it if needed. And but yeah, so that's just a great idea. Thanks, Warden. Orzhov Glaive, Temple Glaive, Martial Strike. Let's get rid of one of these spaces here. So we have the room equals. Let's go look at how the Martial Strike. I love the Martial Strike. It's not my favorite strike, but I'm very, very happy with the mechanics of it. It was a very natural thing to occur. Your weapon damage increases by 1 power die per mana channeled, and you can use 1 combat mastery you have prepared, or that is the property of the weapon you hit with. The way that this works is that you can't use weapon masteries and strikes at the same time. Masteries are cantrips, where strikes are spells. And you can't cast a cantrip and a spell at the same time unless you have a class feature that says that you can. And we have class features in here that let you do things like I could combine Repositioning Strike and Martial Strike together if I wanted to. Repositioning Strike's pretty cool. For every point of mana I spend, I deal an extra power die of damage, and I can move an extra 5 feet without provoking opportunity attacks. So if I have a fighter that's using the Repositioning Strike, and say I've got 4 attacks and I'm willing to dump 12 mana into it, I can hit for an extra 3d10 damage each attack and move 15 feet with each one of them. So there's a lot of fun there that you can have by mixing and matching these things. But Martial Strike, I think, is the most practical to have available here for the characters. Let's see, we're gonna go 1 second. 1 power die of damage per mana plus use 1 combat mastery. So you can fighting styles are considered combat like fighting styles, combat masteries. They're all basically feats using the system, and you can buy feats with prepared powers. So instead of picking up like spell effects that require mana, right? There's like 80 different powers that don't cost mana at all, including combat masteries or weapon masteries that can be used on any weapon. And so when you prep powers, like a first level martial character, like a first level fighter, could prep 4 feats instead of anything that requires mana. And so you get your Sentinel and your great weapon master, and say Cleave and Push as your 4 first powers. Now you can cleave and push with literally any weapon that you use. But once you gain a strike power, when you channel a strike power, like say Shocking Strike, that takes away monsters' opportunity attacks. If you get hit with a Shocking Strike, you take extra electrical damage, and you lose opportunity attacks until the beginning of your next turn. So if you do that, you can't use Push, because Push is a mastery, which is a cantrip effect, while the Shocking Strike power is dealing extra damage because you spent mana on it, and it's like a spell. So, and like I said, like you can combine Shocking Strike with Martial Strike to do both of them. And I think the Monk has that's right. When you use Stunning Strike, you can do both the stun effect and you can use any mastery that you know. So it allows you to stack stuff like that together. That's right. So if we take Martial Strike, we can deal, and you only have first rank, so it's only going to do an extra D6 damage. Or if you don't have powers, it's only going to do an extra D4 damage there, unless you're a higher rank character and you dump more mana into it. So it has 2 mana as a battery, which means that it can always turn on and sustain power shield for itself, by itself for you. So it doesn't require you to use your own auras to your own ranks of aura to sustain the effect, which is nice. But then it also has the 1 point, and this refreshes when the attuned person finishes a long rest, or 24 hours if there's no attunement. And so that would leave 1 point left over for a Martial Strike if necessary, or just to leave as a backup battery for if your power shield goes down. But then all the, we'll just look at them real quick because they're cool. The different weapon mastery, the combat masteries that we have, and how that interacts with the system. So there's 13 of them. Combat masteries are 0 mana strike effects that include all weapon masteries and additional combat masteries. You can choose any number of combat masteries as part of your prepared powers list. When you prepare a combat mastery, you can apply the effect to any weapon. Any weapon you are proficient with, unless the description indicates otherwise. Like, for example, if it requires to be a light weapon, you can't use it with a Great Maul, for instance, which is a heavy weapon. So, or a long sword, which isn't a light weapon either. Description indicates otherwise. You can use 1 combat mastery at a time, and combat masteries cannot be used while channeling a strike power unless a feature specifies otherwise, such as the Paladin Strike feature or the Martial Strike power. That's right. The Paladin can always, anytime you hit with these strikes, anyone can just dump mana into it on hit, like the old school Divine Smite Paladin class feature was. But now in 2024, for a Paladin to do that, they have to spend their bonus action to cast the spell as part of the attack. But I don't want to go backwards like that, so we're leaving it open that everybody can spend mana on hit. Everyone can do a Divine Smite sort of mechanic, but the Paladin can also spend a bonus action to overclock the amount of mana that they can deal. So while a 17th level fighter could dump 5 mana into a strike power, every time you hit with a weapon, you could spend 5 mana to deal an extra 5 dice worth of damage with that weapon. A Paladin can do that too, but the Paladin with a bonus action could also dump an extra 5 points of mana in on top of it, for a total of 10 mana spent, 10 dice on a single. It'll cost you 10 fucking mana, and that's half your wad at 20th level. So it's expensive, but you can do it. And this is not any more powerful than what you can already do, because the player's handbook removed the level cap from Paladin's Divine Smite power. So if you have a first level Divine Smite spell in 2024 as a bonus action to cast, and then you take 19 levels worth of Sorcerer, you can spend 7th, 8th, 9th level spell slots on Divine Smite spells, dealing 11, a 9th level spell slot would deal 10d8 damage, plus whatever else you got going on. So this is within curve of what you can already do with the player's handbook. But none of the other characters can get there on their own. Only the Paladin can do that on their own as a 20th level character. It's just something the Paladin can just naturally do for itself. Or you could go the multi-classing route and take a Paladin dip if you want to, and then blow your high magic 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th level spell slots or whatever to do that as a multi-class caster if you wanted to. But again, going back, you could just stay 20 levels of Paladin. The 2024 Player's Handbook has effectively said, if you want to be really, really good at using Divine Smite, multi-class out of Paladin after 2nd level into a full casting class, like Cleric. that is the best way for a paladin to maximize their divine smite power now using the PHB 2024. So the way that we have this built, it's like if you really, you could do that. You could dip paladin and then that's how you spend your warlock. Like for example, a paladin warlock has its Mystic Arcanum. You could blow your Mystic Arcanum points on divine smites, ramping those up to the 10th level at 19th level. You could totally do that, and that's perfectly fine, and it's a really cool build. But with this system, you don't have a reason to, if you want to use martial powers, if you want to keep leaning into all of these powers that we built, and you want to have a full 20 stat character, a paladin will get you to that 10 dice smite power that no one else can do, while staying a paladin. So I think that's an improvement mechanically. I'm going on, I'm sorry. But I think this is a really important point, that the way that 5e24 has been built is that if you want to deal maximum smite damage, if that's a personal goal for your character's development, you're going to multi-class out of paladin as fast as possible so that you can get 9th level spell slots, because that's the only way to max out your damage. Unless you use this system by combining the attack action and the bonus action once per round, you can smite up to 10 mana. Otherwise, your other, like you get 2 attacks, one could be 10 mana, and the other one can just be 5 mana like everyone else's. So really, really cool. But when the paladin uses that bonus power to ramp, they can use a martial power they could use a combat mastery on top of whatever strike power they use, like blinding strike or whatever, life stealing strike. Who knows? Anyway, combat masteries. That's why I went into that diatribe there, because it was talking about such as the paladin strike power. But here's the masteries. Again, you can prepare these masteries so you can use them with any weapons. Like here it says cleave is melee only, grapple is melee only. Nick is for dual wielding melee weapons only. Like these are very simple caveats. But the rest of them, no problems. Let's see. You can, yeah. So Addle takes is a con save, or you can't make opportunity attack until the next turn. But the shocking strike, there's no Constitution saving throw. You just automatically lose your opportunity attacks. So shocking strike is better than Addle, but you might not want to spend mana on taking away OAs. So you're risking the con save to get the effect for free. Cleave, if the attack hits, you make a second attack against another target within reach of your attack. If you hit, roll damage without including your ability modifier unless it's negative. If you hit, roll the damage without including the ability. Yeah, right. Disarm, strength save, or object is dropped. Grapple, target makes a strength or dexterity save. If they fail, they're grappled, and you can't use the weapon used to grapple until the grapple ends. And then graze is if you miss, you deal ability modifier and weapon damage. Impair, con save, or blinded and deafened until the next turn. Impairing is a great anti-mage tactic, by the way. Taking, like, mage slayers should take impair. It's free blind and deafness that fucks up an ability's caster to cast and target you. So it's super, and it only lasts until the end of their next turn. So basically you shut down any kind of targeting spell casting during that time because they can't fucking see. Nick, dual wielding, you can make an offhand attack as part of the attack action instead of using a bonus action. Push, small target is a large or smaller target you push 10 feet away without a save. Sap, hit them. They have disadvantage on their next attack before the start of your next turn. Slow, hit, and damage reduces target speed by 10 feet until the start of the next turn. And this doesn't stack with stuff. Step, when you hit a target, you can move it 5 feet. You can move 5 feet without provoking opportunity attacks. And then we saw above the repositioning strike. It let you move 5 feet per point of mana that you spend. So if I spend at 13th level 4 mana to whop somebody for 48 extra damage, on top of that I can move 20 feet. So topple, hit is a con save or you're prone, and then vex, I gain advantage on my next attack against you. And then again it says weapon masteries. These are the ones that are already present in the book, so these are just as written. And again it says if a character with the weapon mastery class feature is already proficient with a weapon, you can use it. You can use its listed mastery with that weapon, whether or not you have chosen that mastery. And that has with the not everyone gets the weapon mastery class features, so that's not appropriate. Every character with the channeling class feature is proficient with a weapon. This means that like the Warlock does not get the channeling class feature. You can spend invocations to learn power, and its effective power is going to be equal to your rank as the half casting scale, but you are not a channeler. So a Warlock has to spend proficiency, has to spend feats or invocations to learn masteries, like all spellcasters do. But if you're a channeler, you automatically know how to use the mastery associated with the weapon if you're proficient with it. And you can learn any of these to use them with any weapon that qualifies, that you're proficient with. So there you go. Thank you for joining my TED Talk. That's how that stuff works. So having said all that, this has a base power. While attuned and wielding the weapon, you gain the following powers. Base. Base power. Common has two. No, can't be. It has to be uncommon because that's first rank powers. But I do get 3 of them, so I'm missing a power. Fuck, that's a really good point. Impair. Let's just take that. Target con save or blind and deaf until end of their turn. So a uncommon magic item. So going back up to our scaffold. I've gone up to the scaffold enough times at this point that I should just cutty pasty. Hold on. I'm now realizing that this is a weapon. Gurney. And these are armored. I want to do power bracers. Uncommon. I'm going to keep attunement in here. Two powers, first rank, 2 mana. These forearm guards are made from fine etched leather with exotic metal filigree. XYZ. So then we can move on to the weapons. So we're working on how do we express this new idea. First rank powers. Yeah, base powers. If I say second rank powers, it implies that these are going to be second rank powers. We're trying to express that these are the powers that you get when you have second rank mastery. But mastery is not the right term because there's combat masteries, which are powers of 0 rank. So there's a flawed there's a self Ouroboros here that's kind of fucking that stuff up. So I need different language, like be like initiate, adept, expert. Hold on. Let's go steal Pathfinder 2 levels of proficiency. Let's see what language they're using there, because one, two, three. Huh. Only 3. I thought you had more levels of mastery than that, dude. Legendary. And there's one more row. Two, three, four. Base use. Adept. Oh, wait. Attuned. Adept. Expert. Legendary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Attuned, adept, expert. These might not be good names. Yeah. Because expert kind of okay. So here's the flaw in the system. Like, this is built as an uncommon. What we would want to do is scaffold it. This is already it's 3 powers. A first rank. That's right. Yeah, because it's common, uncommon, rare, very rare, and legendary 5, and then the 5 ranks goes from 1 to 5, and so this as an uncommon magic item is already 2nd rank. It's flawed. I would have to build it so that it has 5 full separate ranks. I want to build this with a pre-built kit that anyone has access to, whether you're a martial character or not. That's the theme behind building magic items above that are prepackaged that anyone can use, but that chafes against the scaffold system. So basically what this is telling us is that we just have to build a separate scaffold system. So we basically have to have pre-built standard rarity magic gear, and then we need to have the legacy gear system from third that we can tack onto this. Build your own item is basically what we can do there. So, hey man, wow, well I really appreciate you taking time with me. Thank you. Right on, man. I'm really proud to have you. Thank you so much. Yeah. I think that's the solution. Just building legacy, just giving you legacy items. If you attune, like you could just choose an item, attune to it, and now it becomes your legacy item, and then you can just start building it any way that you want. So yeah, man, you have a great day. But that's a fucking great idea. I like that a lot. So that's it's just going to require some shit. What's the metal called? I can't remember the name of the exotic metal from Ravnica. Ravnica exotic metal. Shit, what's it called? Something-ium. The apparatus. Mizium. Thank you. Mizium apparatus. Mizium. So, and this is something I've been playing with for a while. I just haven't put into a book yet. So maybe this is the right place to put that. It's magic salvage, right? We've heard of a lot of different salvage rules, but just run with me here. Hold on. First off, let's just go ahead and get this done. While you're here, anyone can have these things. That's now done. So we're going on a fat tangent. Fat tangent. So we're gonna go with empowered channeling that's probably not the right title to use. Evolving gear has been done. Infusions or artificers. So, Mizium gear. There we go. Let's go with that. Mizium is a substance, is a exotic metallic is an exotic material in the Ravnica setting. Uses to make mana infused magical items. In the martial powers system, Mizium is the name of the raw magical energy that suffuses the raw mana energy that suffuses magic items in this Mizium. Is it supposed to be twosies? Maybe that's where I'm getting it wrong. Yeah, twosies. is fun. Oh, this is fucktard fun. Wait, you know the word Mizium? It's okay. Apparently Google's okay with the word Mizium. It's like, no, you're spelling it wrong. I'm like, how would you fucking know that? I don't think I have Mizium written anywhere else in the book. Anyway. I love this line of thought. This is fucking awesome. Mizium can be extracted from magic items and siphoned from ley line nodes to build magical effects and equipment and gear. Let's see. Mizium is measured in 1 to 5 degrees. In degrees, ranging from 1 to 5. First degree. Equals common, uncommon, rare, very rare, legendary, rank 0, rank 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 4 ranks. Max power. Let's do it that way. Yeah, so this allows you to infuse 0 or first rank powers right away. And we know the max rank is only 4. There is no 5th rank powers, so... but there are 5 ranks that you can sustain. So if we built a full sustain model, max ranks, max rank, $100, $400, $4,000, $40,000, $200,000. This is the value is the amount of Mizium that you need to be able to build the item. As you gain more Mizium, you can further infuse the item once you get to a certain level. So basically you're going to go hunting for magic items or exotic locations to fuel your Mizium. You don't automatically. I guess you could convert XP into Mizium. That wouldn't make any sense because you already spent the XP to gain a level. But if we're going with the dungeon delve treasure equals wealth and XP, then you could expend your treasure to gain experience points, to keep whatever magic items that you find, to convert into gold coin, or in the instance of magic items, instead of selling them off for wealth or keeping them, you could melt them down for their Misium value. So if the value is 400, I would need to basically collect 10 uncommon magic items worth of Misium for me to be able to sculpt a rare item, or I would only need an extra 3,600 difference. So we'll go with value and difference. $100, $300. Oh, value and then add. $3,600. 36,000, and this is 160,000. When you forge new magic, when you gain enough Misium to forge new gear, spend 1 day times 10% value to forge the item. When you gain enough Misium, gather, let's say that, when you collect enough Misium, spend 1 day times 10% value to forge the item. 1 day times 10, so it's 10 days to forge a common Misium. And then if you take that common item and you want to advance it to uncommon, second degree of forge of power, second degree of power. Then you would need an additional 300 Misium, and you would need an extra 30 days to forge the common item into an uncommon item. Let's go with, and then we want to have a DC associated with it. How difficult is it for you to build it? Let's go with this. Let's go with this scaffold for now. 13. No. We should go 10. No, we should start at 13. 16, 19, 22, 25. Let's go to 31. Say 25, 19. That takes us down to 13. And this takes us to 10. No, that would take us to 7. Too broad. So let's say 28, 25, 22, 19, 16. Nah. Let's just do 13 through 16. Yeah, let's just do that. That's easy enough. When you collect enough Misium, spend 1 day times 10% value to forge the item, and make a crafting check. If the roll succeeds, you complete the item. as intended. You complete an item as intended. If you fail, you complete the item with a quirk. Let's go to the quirk table. See what kind of shit I'm getting us into. Magic items. Where's the quirk table? Where's the player's handbook? Damn it. I want to be in a DMG. DMG. Magic items. Let's see. Sure, let's just go here. Nope. Here. Let's go here to magic items. Categories. Armor, potions. Potion, mixability. Rings, rods, scrolls. Staffs, wands, weapons. Rarity. Common magic items can often be bought in a town. Uncommon or rare magic items are often found only in cities, and rare magic items might only be sold only in wondrous locations such as the city of Brass or Sigil. See, I'm not freaking crazy. I called that correctly. Let's see. A magic item incorporates in item added cost. Awarding magic items. We've looked at this. Overstocking common magic items. Uncommon blah de blah. Tracker. Random rarity. Starting characters. Activating a magic. To randomly determine starting items using the Arcana tables and implement tables. Oh, neat. Potion, the relics table. This is cool. I have not read this yet. That's really cool. Let the players choose whatever items they want within the specific rarity. DM choice. You choose or you choose specific topics. I like that. Activating magic items, command words. As a word or short phrase that must be spoken or signed for an item to work. Spoken command words must be audible and fail to work in areas where all sound is suppressed, as in the area of a silent spell. Consumed items. Some items are consumed. They vanish. Spells cast from items. Some magic items allow the user to cast a spell from the item the spell is cast at the lowest level possible. In caster level, doesn't expend any of the user's spell slots and requires no components unless the item's description notes otherwise. The spell uses its normal casting time, blah blah blah. And you got to concentrate if it requires it. Unusual durations. Certain items may be exceptions to these rules, changing the casting time, duration, or parts of the spell. A magic item may require the user to use their own spell casting ability when casting a spell from the item. If the user has more than one spell casting ability, choose which one. Charges. Some magic items have charges that must be expended to activate the properties. The number of charges an item has remaining is revealed by the identified spell is cast on it. The creature attuned to an item knows how many charges the item has and how many it regains. Cool. Next, Dawn. Cursed items. Resilience. Crafting. Arcana proficiency. Tools. Junk. Spells. Time and cost. Work per day. 8-hour day. Requires multiple days. Those days needn't be consecutive. assistance, raw material. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, half the cost to construct is what you can sell it for. Huh. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to stick with full. I'm going to stick with the full value, even though you are technically constructing these things. And gear. Space. Crafting museum. Yeah, let's go with full cost because, just because. I'm still looking for my quirk tables though. Let's stay on topic. Special features. History, major properties. You can add distinctive to a magic. You can add distinctiveness to a magic item by thinking about its backstory, who made the item, blah blah blah. So non-sword has a more flexible discovery. Use the following tables to fill in details about a magic item's history. Some tables entries make more sense for certain items than others. On the magic item's minor property table and the magic item's quirk table, U refers to the item's bearer. Okay, let's look at minor properties then. Compass, bright light, delver. Underground, you always know the item's depth. These sound like common magic items to me. These minor properties, these just sound like things you can. Attuning to this item takes only 1 minute. Key, the item is used to unlock a container. Yeah, these are all minor magic item effects. I dig it, except for this harmonious. That's irrelevant. But the DM chooses a kind of creature such as a mind flayer or troll. This item glows faintly when you're near. Yeah, these are all super fucking cool. And here we are, magic item quirks. Blissful, you feel fortunate and optimistic about what the future holds. Butterflies and other harmless creatures might frolic in the item's presence. Confident, the item helps you feel self-assured. Covetous, you become obsessed with material wealth. Fragile, the item crumbles. Phrase chips and cracks slightly when wielded, worn, and activated. This quirk has no effect on the property. Loud, the item makes a loud noise, such as a clang or shout or resonating gong when used. Metamorphic, the item periodically alters its appearance in slight ways. Repulsive, you make a sense of distaste. You feel a sense of distaste when in contact with the item and continue to experience discomfort while using it. Okay, great. Quirk. If you fail, you complete the item with a quirk. If you roll a natural 20, you complete the item and it gains an additional minor property. But it has a magical quirk. I think that's the word that we use, right? Well, hey, what's up, Heathen Witch? It's good to see you. Let's see. If you roll succeed, you complete the item as intended. If you fail, you complete the item, but it has a quirk. If you roll a natural 20, you complete the item, and it gains an additional random minor property. Ka-dunk. Random quirk. Hey. We're taking we're designing a system from Magic the Gathering's Ravnica setting. There's Mizzium. We're using Mizzium as a magical material that you can pull out of magic items or like magical locations that can be basically Play-Doh'd into magical effects that you spend time sculpting with checks. And here's the amount of the effective value of the magic item, and the amount of I was thinking about doing a one. I was just thinking that maybe you like this is the value of each level of magic item in the game, and I was thinking it takes half of that to craft it, but I wanted to leave it the full value here because you're basically getting what's the tabula rasa. It's a blank form that the player can fill in. And so I'm thinking about just making it have the full cost to be able to craft it. But then if you're extracting Mizzium from magic items, instead of extracting the full value, maybe you only get half of it. So let's go with value, add. Let's go with extract. That's the right way to do this. $2,000, $20,000, $100,000. There we go. That's that. So we can extract that much value of Mizzium from an item, and this is the actual value needed to be able to create the item. Let's add a category here. Let's go with destroy, extract. Create. I see text over there. Give me a second to catch up with you. There. That's good. Save. And tab. Huh? For the players that like the item creation. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And it lets you, basically with the power system that we have here, we've got a fat stack of powers that players can use to plug into their items for different effects. So this is the, if you aren't familiar with this already, I have the color mana system for spellcasters. This is the martial power system, which creates a mana system for martial characters as a resource instead of use this thing 6 times per day. Instead, make it 1 point of mana, and every time you spend a point of mana, you can use that thing. So we've converted the barbarian, the fighter, the monk, the rogue into half casters, and they're all using the monk's short rest mana pool. And the rank of a power costs 1 point each, the same way as the spell point mana system works. So first rank, 1 point of mana at first level, then 2 at 5th, 3 at 9th. It's a half casting progression. And the power die is if you're going to deal extra damage, with a smite effect or something like that. If I'm 6th level and I want to channel 2 mana to deal extra damage on a smite power, I would roll 2 6-sided dice and add those together. I can have a total of 9 powers, but those powers could be either like these strike, exploit, maneuver, reaction, or sustained power effects that require mana, or they can just be feats, but you don't gain any stat bonuses and you don't have any prerequisites. If you learn a feat as a magical power, you can learn a damage type and the weapon masteries that we gain in 2024. You can just learn those as cantrips to use on any weapon you're proficient with. So that universalizes it, and of course the mana refreshes on a short rest. We also have the action economy battery, empowered actions. Like if you choose not to move this turn, you can automatically generate a free point of mana to use on one of these channeling features that round. If you expend your bonus action to basically focus mana for use, depending on what level you have, depends on how much mana you can gain from your bonus action. So like max rank, first level, max rank of 1, you gain 1 point. At 9th level, when you have 3rd rank, you can generate 2 points of mana with a bonus action. And at 5th rank, at 17th level, you can generate 3 points of mana. This is based off of the idea that, like, for example, a rogue can spend their bonus action for steady aim, which gives them advantage on their attack roll, which is basically spend a point of mana, give yourself free. You can give yourself advantage on an attack. Like sorcerers have that. So WotC already gave us the pacing for how much mana is supposed to be able to do things from various subclass options, sorcery, magic, and stuff like that. So we were able to pretty easily build out that scaffold, and as you gain levels, your bonus action becomes more valuable. So basically you can stand still and focus your energy, and depending, like if you're a first level character, you can generate 2 mana that way for free to spend throughout the rest of your turn, but you can't move, and you only have 1 action left at first level. So like that's more power than your character actually knows what to do with, unless they can trigger reaction to themselves. Like if I could use that 2 mana, I could use my action to like make a tripping strike, and so if I hit you, I automatically trip you and deal extra damage. And if I have the downtrodden reaction, whenever somebody gets tripped within reach of your weapon, you can use an opportunity attack to you can spend 1 point of mana to attack them, and so you could use your 2 points of mana, 1 to actually trip them, and then you can use the other point to trigger a reaction, and then you would burn all of your action economy, stood still, use your bonus action, you trip the guy, and then you use your own reaction to hit him again on the way down. So you can double tap somebody at first level by doing this knockdown takedown effect, and then that's basically your entire round. So you can resolve your round in 2 attack rolls and then you move on. So a lot of this is designed to make your combat round more efficient. If you decide to do less, you can do those less things more. Like you can do them with literally with more power. So yeah. This is fun stuff. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad you're jiving on it. It's a fun thing. And so once this is put in place, all characters use the same mana system. It's just how much mana do they have and how quickly do they get it back, long rest or short rest. So the full casters get a fat fucking huge battery. Like a sorcerer gets 100 mana at 20th level, as opposed to a fighter only gets 20. But a fighter gets that mana back on a short rest, while the sorcerer only has that battery once a day. The fighter is going to spend his mana in at most five mana chunks, while a sorcerer could burn a 9th level spell slot for 9 mana and then dump meta magic on top of it for like another 5 points worth of meta magic, could spend 15 points in one spell. So like its fat battery can whittle down really fast, like a 9th level, 8th level, 7th level, 6th level spell that you would normally be able to get with the spellcasting mechanics with mana. That's 30 mana right there. That eats up nearly half your fucking battery just to use your high magic for the day. And those 50 points that are left can be spent on level 1 to 5, anywhere from 1 to 5 points each. And so now you're on a long rest with 50 mana, while your fighter's on 20 mana with a short rest, but has basically infinite mana if you're willing to give up action economy in the process. But you can never pump more than 5 points into it at a time unless you're a paladin. So there's a lot of really fun checks and balances that allow these two systems to operate side by side using the same resource system,
But the way that the classes are designed is they set inbound, like they have inbred, not inbred, not inbound. Self-restraining limitations that if you move away from one class, you've capped what you can do with your power until you gain another class that can accumulate more power. So the channeling class feature and the spell casting class feature completely work against each other while using the same mana pool. So it's like I could take 10 levels of fighter and 10 levels of wizard and have 40 points of mana on a long rest from the wizard, and then have 10 points of mana from short rest on the fighter. The fighter with 10 levels could get up to 3rd rank of power, and as a wizard at 10th level, they can only cast up to 5th level spells. So their stack is always capped at 5 because of the way that you broke your subclasses. So, and then they would just be using the same pool, and every time you take a short rest, you just add that 10 mana back from the fighter back into the pool. As you burn down your long rest mana from the wizard, you could use your wizard's mana to channel powers, and you can channel, so you can have that fat wizard battery, but if you don't ever get past 4th level as a martial character, you can't ever channel higher than first rank powers. So for you to gain 2nd rank power as a martial with a spellcaster, you have to forego your 8th and 9th level spell slots. Infinite mana to channel powers only, not spells. And to do that, it costs you your highest level magics. So it's a fun checks and balance system. It actually works really well. And we've been tinkering with these different dynamics for a couple of years now in different home tables, and it works really effectively. So I'm pretty fun. Anyway, I think I'm done geeking out now. Sorry. So Mizium gear. Crafting Mizium 1 to 5. Mizium is the component from Ravnica that all the ridiculously magical things are made, like impossible things are made out of Mizium. If you can, like Forge, if you can imagine them, you can create them. You just gotta have enough infrastructure to support its creation. So you can make all that stuff from Mizium. So Mizium makes magic. You could also use Mizium, and instead of spending gold in researching, you can just have amassed Mizium, and you can just burn the Mizium to create different magical effects until you lock down a research magical spell effect that you like, and then you basically lock the Mizium into a rune that you can then put into your spell book, or that you could then prepare as a spell or a power in the future as well. This is just the magic item stuff. And if you find like a wizard's magic book, it's full of Mizium. You can melt down a wizard's spell book and gain basically half the max spell level in the book is basically the degree of Mizium that you can extract from it. Like if you find a wizard's book that has like Wish in it, 9th level, well, my game is a 10th level spell. So so if you found a spell book with Wish and a shitload of other spells in it, if you melt it down, it would be worth a 5th degree. It'd be worth a 5th degree amount of Mizium. So melting down that spell book would effectively give you 100,000 gold worth of Mizium to build other magic stuff from the potential held by that Wish spell inside of that book. So anyway, ideas. These are the things that we're playing with. Hey, right on. Glad you're enjoying it. But yeah, this is why I like to do. This is my hobby. Let's see, and of course all the books I have on DMsGuild are here in the description down below, so you can check out all of these. Here in particular, we have all the original color mana books here. It's still formatted for 5e14, but what we're doing right now is part of the process of updating all of the, this is all the infrastructure and background and core information I need, converting to 5e24 to make all these books current. So we'll be updating all of these things. Big project. It's a big project, and I take a couple hours bites out of it every time. So speaking of bites, I think I want to take a quick coffee break here. Max rank. Let's go with let's drop this here to rank and total.
I'm going to keep that. This is the amount of powers that you can put into the item, and this is the max rank of power that those can have. Even though powers cap at 4th rank from 1 to 4, kind of like Eldritch Knight and Arcane Trickster can get up to 4th level spells. We capped the ranks of power at 4 as well. Even though it's on a half cast and you can get access to top rank at 13th level, you can still push your mana to 5 at 17th level. And when you sustain auras on yourself, you can sustain a total number of ranks of aura equal to your max rank. So if I'm 17th level, even though there's only 4th rank powers at 17th level, when I have access to 5th level spells or 5th rank power, I could have a 4th rank aura active on my character, and that still leaves one slot open, so I can fill that with a 1st rank aura. And for those that are new to the audience, the sustained powers, they're non-concentration self-buff effects. They affect your character only. It does not require concentration to activate it. You burn mana to turn it on. You don't get the mana back until you complete a rest and have turned off, like the mana, the auras automatically turn off on a long rest. They can remain active during a short rest, but if they do, you don't get the mana back, because all of these martial characters get mana back on a short rest. So if you have like 3 ranks worth of sustained effects active on you at a time, those 3 mana used to sustain those auras, you don't get that back when you finish a short rest. When you begin a long rest, all auras drop, and then when you finish a long rest, you get all of your mana back, and you can turn them back on. You could choose to take a feat that allows you to sustain auras while you're asleep, and like if you're in a hostile environment, that's useful, and you can learn that feat as a power, so you can prepare the ability to sustain feats, to sustain powers while you're asleep, and then choose powers that you need. So like if you, like for example, if you're using aquatic anatomy, while sustaining this power, you can breathe water and gain a swim speed equal to double your speed. In addition, you have no penalties to melee attack rolls from attacking underwater. If I'm doing an underwater campaign at 1st level, I could just take this, I could prepare this as my power, I could turn it on and just leave it on. And while it remains active, I can breathe water and swim. So if I'm stuck underwater and I need to take a long rest, I need to have the ability to sustain this power while I do so. So I can take the long rest sustained feat to allow me to just keep this active during that long rest. And when I wake up, I don't get that 1 point of mana back, but the aquatic anatomy remains active. So like I could have like a 17th level character with 5 ranks. I could have, these are all 1st rank powers. So like for 1 point, I could have resistance to lightning or thunder. I could take this acid, fire, cold, lightning, and thunder. At 17th level, I could have all 5 of those resistant at the same time. For 2 mana apiece, I could become resistant to force, necrotic, poison, psychic, or radiant. So like at 13th level, when I have 4 ranks, I could have both psychic and radiant resistance if I wanted to. And then for 2 points of mana, I could just have resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, basically like barbarian rage. But it's going to cost me 2 ranks of power to be able to sustain that, while a barbarian gets it for free at 1st level. So like shit that most characters can, like features that characters can get at 1st level, you could potentially buy at higher levels for mana, like to spend mana to gain access to this thing. So, and then we have like some of the cooler stuff. Crouching stance is only 1 mana. You can crawl and stand from prone without requiring additional movement. So like all modes of movement and crawling, it's all the same to your character. Attack rolls made against you while prone by creatures within 5 feet, they don't gain advantage anymore, because you're adept at moving on, like was it the Capybara dance battle, like the Brazilian ground fighting, like they can just like scuttle across the ground and just crawl over you, tackle you, and scuttle away, and like what the fuck happened. And then on top of that, you gain advantage on dexterity stealth checks while you're prone, because you can move so fast, but your profile is so low. It's like ninja crawling and like rolling around and hiding and stuff like that. So crouching stance, that's 1 mana. Lycanthropy is the 1st rank power. It gives you heightened senses, wisdom, perception, investigation checks using scent. You have advantage on your strength checks and saving throws, and then you have a natural weapon. Shing. You can Deal a power die of damage was D6 at first level, D10 at 17th. The strength and dexterity modifier, and it could be either bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage whenever you choose. That's a fun one. But that's only first rank. So then we get into third rank stuff like Opportunist. You can sack, like if you maintain 3 mana for Opportunist. No, it's only 2 mana. If you spend 2 mana as an aura, you can now convert your attacks into extra reactions. So you can defer your round of combat to disperse amongst other people as an opportunist aura that you can generate. And there's a whole bunch of reaction stuff inside the system to take advantage of that. Celerity is basically haste without the hangover. Mind Sense is 3 mana, but you can target people if you can read their mind. And then high-end stuff like Indestructible, you have resistance to everything. And then if you want to dismiss, then if you decide to dismiss that power, you can spend an extra 2 mana and become immune to 1 type of damage as a reaction. And then you'd have to turn it on again for 4 mana and sustain it again. And then if something else, like you could die, like if you had this on, you could have you have resistance to everything. If you dive into a pool of lava, you could dump the Indestructible and thus lose the benefit of the resistances, but then spend 2 extra mana, and now you're immune to fire damage till the end of the turn. Maybe you need to swim through lava to get to a cave. You can get out of it, and then the Indestructible wears off, and now your character's okay, but you're not taking damage anymore. So anyway, powers and powers and powers and powers. So that's our scaffolding. So even though there's only a max of 4th rank, Legendary can sustain 5 levels of power. So I need to have that notation here. Even though we know there's only 4th rank powers, I need to notate that it can go up to 5th rank, because I could decide to build a Mizium Gauntlet that all it does is have like 5 ranks worth of sustained effects on my character. And when you sustain effects on a magic item, it doesn't affect the amount of ranks of stuff that you can sustain as a character. So I could have 5 of my own ranks and then have gear that can stack on another 15 or 20 auras worth if I can collect the gear to do it. And these things require attunement. Let's see, I haven't written that yet. Mizium gear requires attunement. There you go. So that means you can only have 3 of them. But still, a 17th level with 3 pieces of Mizium gear could potentially have 15 ranks worth of sustained effects on themselves, which is insane, but that's 17th level. So, you know, that or a Holy Avenger, take your pick, I guess, right? While crafting powers into Mizium gear, you must have the chosen powers prepared each day you craft. There. So now you can build your own. This gives you a reason to go into dungeons and get treasure, because you can peel the treasure apart for the Mizium and then rebuild it. So you're going to go relic hunting, not because you give a shit about the relic. You want the Mizium that the relic is built from. You don't care about the Alexandrian Great Library. You care about all the Mizium that's used to build the artifacts and knowledge that's inside of that ancient library. You're a relic hunter, not for the historical value or the cultural significance of the stuff, but you want to loot it for magical raw capability, so you can build your own shit. So you could build an entire campaign around, like, say, being part of a monk order that has a bunch of temples with artifacts in them, and the main antagonists in the campaign are temple raiders, specifically going in to steal magic items. Shit, your gear got stolen. How long is it going to take for me to extract the Mizium from our legendary Flaming Fist or whatever? Well, it's 100,000. Divide that by 10. So it's going to take 10,000 days to liquefy that artifact for you to be able to then convert into Mizium. Boy, that's 10,000 days. Isn't that a Tool album? That's a fucking lifetime. So breaking down and building legendary magic items, obviously that takes a very long time. So finding items of this level instead of crafting them might be practical, but at the same time, you could have these things built, and you can't access these higher ranks of power until your character is that degree. Like, a degree is equal to ranks, right? So a first degree Mizium item, you can only be anyone can use that as first rank. I could craft these things. An elf could craft some sort of magical leaf armor or something over 30,000, over 30,000, 20,000 days. And it has all this potential held inside of it. And then, young Link, here, take this sword. It's dangerous out there. And he gets a first degree common sword. And as you continue on your Legend of Zelda quest, it continues to gain more and more ranks of power because you're attuned to it and you keep it as your magic item. It just naturally starts elevating itself alongside you. So that's the idea of Mizium gear. So we've got our Orzhov weapon. I should probably extract all of this stuff. I don't need this expert adept mastery legendary language anymore. Yeah, we can just get rid of that. And let's go back up into Mizium gear. Oh yeah, and if you want anyone that wants to see this document on their own, again, it's a read-only document, but you can look at it. If you click here, again, that was my Patreon. Here in the description, you scroll down, and it's here. The Color Magic Plus Martial Powers playtest document linked through Patreon is here. So you click that, it takes you to Patreon. You don't have to be a member of my Patreon. God bless you if you are. But you click the Martial Powers button, and then it loads. For you, it's a read-only document, but this is the exact same document that we're working on right now. And this is how I plan to run Kickstarters in the future as well. I do a Kickstarter project, it gets funded, or I've half built something already and I want to Kickstart, whatever. But the document it'll be an open living document that people will easily be able to see. And then on top of that, all of the books I've already created on DMsGuild, they're all 100% free preview also. So if you want to see the level of quality that I can produce, I do all the artwork for all my books and all the design work, and I hire editors and co-writers to help me make sure ideas make sense and it goes well. But I build out the ideas so you can see literally all the books I've ever published are 100% free to read. You buy the books to encourage me to make another one. And in the future, when I actually can start doing Kickstarters, you're going to fund me in the Kickstarter because I am readily demonstrating this is the level of quality that you can expect or better for the work that I do. Fund me, and you guys can join me on the entire journey of building the book from ideation to publication. And you'll get a copy because you're a Kickstarter backer. You get the book for free, and you'll have an opportunity to play test it and participate in it and peanut gallery with me during the entire design process. And at the end of it, we all have a fucking book. So that's where I want to go with Kickstarter stuff. I'm not there yet, and I'm doing a horrible job about organizing myself. There's a lot I need to do, but baby steps. When the muse tells me it's time for me to start doing businessy stuff to do this, then she'll tell me, Phil, it's time to do business, and she'll tell me exactly what I need to do. All I have to do is just be excited about building stuff and be open to the messages and the signals that I get to hear. So whether it's from really great ideas in the peanut gallery, and God bless you guys, or it's coming directly from Mount Olympus, whichever path it's coming from, I am open to taking the feedback to build the best work we can and just have cool shit. So weapons, that's good. Orzhov Temple Glaive looks good. We have Blade of the Graceful Swan. Yeah, thanks, Milo, for this one, which was a very rare scimitar, +2, requires attunement. This elegant sword is forged so the blade appears as a swan's wing, the handle a swan's neck, and the pommel a swan's head. This will be fun to paint. While attuned and holding the weapon, you can use the following powers. Attacks with weapon deal radiant damage. We'll go with, it's very rare, so that's very rare scimitar. That's going to be 5 powers of 4th rank with 8 mana. Let's go with Meta. Power. Radiant damage. 0 damage type. Meta power. Step. That's a mastery. Combat mastery is COM. We'll go with strike. Freezing strike. First rank. What does freezing strike do? I think it just slows people down. Cold damage and slows people, I'm pretty sure. Let's go check it out real quick. Freezing strike. So there's like 27 of these. 26. Freezing strike. Again, these work like divine smites. When you hit somebody, as an on-hit effect, you can spend mana up to your max rank of power, and it does blank. Your weapon deals cold damage, and you add 1 power die per mana of additional cold damage. The creature's movement is reduced by half, rounded down to an increment of 5, minimum of 0, until the end of its next turn. So I could hit you with a slow mastery and slow your speed by 10 from 20 to 10, or I could hit you with a freezing strike for a point of mana, and it reduces your speed to half from 30 to 15. So, and again, it's like whatever your rank is the maximum amount of mana that you can dump into it at one time. And it's a D6, so like at third level, if you were using this item, it would be if you don't have the channeling class feature, like you're a spellcaster, it's a D4, and that's all it ever is. Never going to get any better for you. If you can channel, it starts with a D6. It evolves to a D8 and eventually becomes a D10 at 17th level, except for the monk. The monk gets to use its martial arts die instead. It starts at a D6, then a D8, then a D10, and then a D12. And the battle master has one higher die. It's a D8, D10, and D12. And the ranger, when using at 20th level, a ranger gets a D6, a D8, a D10. But then Foe Slayer class feature allows all, whenever you have a target marked, everything involving a power die becomes a D12 instead of a D10. So your smite damage, your ability modifiers to track your targets, anything that you do that targets or involves your marked prey uses a D12 instead of a D10. So those four things: Ranger, Death, Foe Slayer, Battle Master, Monk. Though yeah, those are the only three things in the game currently that allows you to upgrade from a D10 to a D12 eventually. So very limited audience, very limited engagement there, but fun. It's a fun balancing system. Let's see. Strike is, so we know what a freezing strike is now. It slows you. Come on, buddy, get your mouse to work. And then sustained. I think it's still called Cloud Strider. Or is it Abundant Step now? Hold on, let's go find out. Second rank. Sustained powers. Aquatic Amenity, Cliff Runner, Crouching Stance. I think maybe it's third now. Yeah, we changed it. What did we change it to? It's been a while since I've looked at these. There's been a lot of alterations. Ghost Walker. Windstrider, there we go. Third rank. Windstrider, third rank. With this power, while this power is sustained, you can fly using your walking speed and hover. When the power ends, the benefit of the effect of when the power ends, You benefit from the effects of a Featherfall spell until you occupy a space on a solid surface or liquid that can support you. There you go. There, 5 powers total. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's so we got the swan thing going on here. So we got the flight, we got the slow, honk honk. We got the step to move away, honk honk. Radiant damage because swan good. I don't know. It's just a swan motif. But is there something else? Is there a reaction that we could find that might be particularly interesting? My gut's telling me reactions, and I can get up to 4th rank, so I can do literally anything. Is there a cool swan sort of something? Grace? Swans are graceful, right? Reroll any d20 test, including any number of power dice rolled. Costs you 2 mana to do that. But like if I'm throwing 5 dice and I only rolled a 3 or better on a d10 on all 5 of them, fuck you. Yeah, saving grace, spend an extra 2 mana to re-roll everything, including the d20. That's not it's expensive, but once you have that amount of mana laying around, it's not a bad idea. Saving grace is a good one. I'm going to leave that on the table. Is there something? Moving target as a reaction to when a creature you can see moves into or within the reach of your melee weapon, you can make an attack, even if the target is using the disengage action. Rolling 1 power die per mana channeled, adding the highest result to your attack roll. If the attack misses, restore the mana to your pool. So this lets you make an opportunity attack while somebody runs by you and they're still inside of your area of effect. It costs 2 mana to use it. So you're going to roll 2 dice at 5th level. That's going to be 2 6-sided dice. Keep the best result and add it to your attack roll. If you miss the opportunity attack, you get both mana back. No harm, no foul. Pardon the pun with the swan, right? Moving targets. I don't know if that feels particularly swan-like. If that's the theme, I mean, that is the theme that we're going with. But it's a fucking cool power. No, swan's like taking bites at people. That might actually be a good one. Is there something better? Feint, controlled fall, bait and switch, anticipate. No, I think moving target's a great one, and it's a 2nd rank power, so that helps fill that in. So let's do that. We're gonna go with reaction. Moving target. Worth noting, because of the way the system works. As a reaction to when a creature you can see moves into or within the reach of your weapon, for those that don't know, forced movements. In this system, in this game specifically, these variant rules, various powers such as Push, Combat Mastery, and Thundering Strike force creatures to move as part of the effect. Forced movement triggers opportunity attacks for creatures that can channel powers. So like if I move out of if somebody gets punted through my area of through my reach and then they move out of my reach during that punt process, because they were inside of my reach and they moved out of it, I would naturally be able to take an opportunity attack against them, even though they're moving against their will. This could be used both against the players and the monsters. So your team, if you want to get into this, can set up all sorts of fun ping ball effects where you're punting targets into and out of each other's reach so that you can all be taking swipes and stabbing at each other. As a DM, I can set up a group of orcs that have the ability to do these opportunity attacks. So if one orc pushes, it triggers an opportunity attack for entering your space that it then uses an opportunity attack to then hit and push you into somebody else's area of effect. So you could end up having 15, 20, 30 feet worth of forced movement across 3 or 4 different enemies that take a hit and then push you, take a hit and then push you. And now you got one character that's behind enemy lines
with like 3 or 4 other creatures between you and them, and now they're on their own on the board, and they either need to stand and hold their ground alone, or the team needs to fight their way through, or they need to find a way to like to teleport back or fight their way back. So using like forced movement, there's a big complaint in 5e that like once you get into position, you don't move around. So if you want to keep your battle interesting, create reasons for characters to move. If you really want to lean into that dynamic, then forced movement triggers opportunity attacks. Opportunity attacks can trigger forced movement. So if you have multiple characters that can have multiple means of moving targets and different action economies, you can set up sequences where you're using your action like your action loop is to move targets and then punish them for being moved. Or you can have a whole team that sets up tactics around one person as the pusher, and everyone else is exploiting the movement that happens. Like for example, one of the powers, one of the maneuvers that we have here is Shunt. Let's go take a look at that real quick. Shunt. Target a number of creatures equal to the amount of mana expended that are all within 10 feet and up to one size larger than you. To make a strength save or be pushed up to 10 feet per mana channeled directly away from you, you can add the highest power die to the saving DC that they make, the strength saving DC. So if I spend 4 mana at 13th level, I can target 4 creatures up to one size larger than me, that's within 10 feet, and they have to make a strength saving throw against, probably at 13th level, it's probably gonna be like a +4 to my stat, 8 + 4, +5 from my proficiency bonus. That's a 17. At 13th level, I'm throwing a D8. So I'm going to throw 4 8-sided dice, and I'm going to keep the highest result, which will probably be a 6. So that DC 17 just became a DC 23. And if you're fighting brutes, that still might be difficult to pass. Maybe they'll succeed. But if you're fighting skirmishers or caster controllers that have low strength, high spellcasting stats, they're going to get punted away from you. And then if you have your team situated in different areas, they're going to get punted into your enemy, into your ally, that's then going to start dumping hurt on them through reaction. Anyway, that's some of the cool shit that we can do. So I'm pretty happy with the Blade of the Graceful Swan. I'm going to leave that be. What is this? Breath of Salvation. Oh, it's a blowgun. Fuck yeah, this was so fun. Rare is 4 powers up to 3rd rank with 6 mana. The blowgun is crafted from a hallowed femur bone. While attuned and holding the weapon, you gain swift resuscitation. All right, so swift resuscitation. Here you go. Hold on. Check this out. It's an exploit, so it modifies an action. Oh no, that's not it. It's a maneuver. So you can use it as an action or a bonus action. And Mother Hubbard, where is it? Oh, I must have renamed it. Hold on. Is it resuscitate now? Breath of Life. When you make an ability check to stabilize a dying character, you automatically succeed, and you restore a number of hit points equal to the result of 1 power die. So this is a blowgun, right? And it has the Breath of Life power in it. So basically, you take your blowgun, like a straw, you breathe it into their mouth, and they immediately wake up and they get hit points back and they get back to fighting. And you can yeah, I love that. Anyway, sorry, geeking out over here. While attuned, you gain. What is this? Exploit. Breath of Life. That's the first rank. Instead of range of touch, you can affect a target within range of the blowgun's attack. Oh, that's fucking cool! I love that we did that. So instead of, Breath of Touch, when you would use the help action to resuscitate somebody, you have to be adjacent to touch. But this is fun, a blow dart. I love that. Yeah, that's super cool.
Field Medic doesn't exist anymore, so I need to swap that out. It's good that we're doing this. Exploits. Let's go with Maneuver. Rally. This first rank. And how does that work? That's a maneuver. Let's find more cool. I love this blowgun idea. So fucking cool. Why am I just... Oh, there it is. Rally. You and one ally you can see. And all these powers have a range of 60 feet. Like, if it's like a target you can see, it has to be within 60 feet. That's just... And, like if you're going to use a ranged weapon with powers, the powers stop after 60 feet. Unless you have something that says that you can use your full range or your long range with it. But there's very little... Only the ranger can, currently. It's like a ranger, like, gets actual range smites, while everyone else is limited to thrown weapons. So that alone makes the ranger like really stand. They can't smite as hard as the paladin can, but if you were to multi-class between paladin and ranger and dip the ranger up to 5th level, at 5th, it's 6th level, 5th or 6th level, they have the ability to use powers up to the normal range of their ranged weapon, which is like 120 feet for a longbow as opposed to 60 feet for everyone else. But if you dipped in Paladin, you did not also be able to start using your bonus action to ramp the amount of smite damage you did with your ranged attacks. So multi-classing definitely benefits you. You and one ally, gains, you and ally gains temporary hit points equal to the power die, equal to the total of one power die rolled for each point of mana. Where'd that go? Rally. You and ally gains temp HP equal power dice times mana. There you go. Shorthanding that shit. What else? We got 4 up to 3rd rank. We have 2 so far. Is that right? 2, 3, 4 is rare. And 2nd, it's not 3rd rank, it's 2nd. No, 5 powers of 4th rank, 4 powers of 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there you go. That's right. We need a strike power for sure. It's a blow dart. So what would be a cool? What would be a cool blow dart thing to do? I think it needs a combat mastery, and I think it needs a strike power, and that should, yeah, that'll finish it off. So let's see. Although the Curse of the Fallen Puppet, everything from Matt Mercer's Blood Hunter, we converted into powers. So, like, if you wanted to be a blood hunter but not have to lose hit points and all that stupid shit to make your stuff work, instead you could just learn them as powers, like a ranger blood hunter or a paladin blood hunter or a barbarian blood hunter. You can just learn all of the powers as for whatever class you want, and you effectively become a witcher as you please. So all this shit can do that anyway. I just wanted to point out that we melted all of the rights and curses and whatever that stuff was at the, like, all the class features. Like, that's where the lycanthropy thing came from. Like, it was the shifter, blood hunter, whatever. Anyway, it's all in here. The ghost hunter, all that shit. Strikes. Blowgun. What feels like a blowgun? You know what? Honestly, I kind of like the idea of Thundering Strike with the blowgun. When you hit them, you deal extra damage and you push them away. It's like a burst of air that damages them and pushes them too. I think that's a lot of fun. Let's do that. pushes target 10 feet per mana. And then I think a weapon mastery feels like it makes sense. So let's go down to our masteries. How are we doing on time? Oh, yep, this is going to be the last thing we do, and then we'll be done for the day. We didn't do as many things as I thought we were going to do today, but fuck A, dude. I really enjoyed the stuff that we did. This was a kick-ass day. I'm going to be back. We'll be back doing this Monday night. So my design stream schedule is Saturday brunch like this, Monday night, Tuesday lunchtime, Thursday night, Friday lunchtime. So 5 days per week. One of those days, either Monday or Saturday, is going to get taken away for the Mega Dungeon playtesting we're doing for the Martial Powers and Color Mana system. That'll be from level 3 to 10. As soon as I can get a team of 5 put together for either Monday or Saturday, that'll be the day that we roll. And whoever voted in favor of doing so will have a seat automatically, and then we'll recruit more if we need. But the playtest sign up is up here at the top for November. It just takes you into my Discord. Everyone is invited. If you think this stuff is cool, I'm building a mega dungeon, and we've talked about it a lot in the past. We've been designing for it. I closed out. I closed out my. I closed out my window. Hold on, I'm distracting myself. Let me make sure I finish up this fucking item before we go for the day. Hold on. What's gonna be the proper blow dart thing to do? I mean, impair. Blinded and deafened, that's not really a blow dart sort of thing to do. Addle? Can't make opportunity attacks. You're not going to get addled by a blow dart. That doesn't feel right. Sap isn't horrible. Vex. Advantage on the next attack. It's not a horrible idea. Impair, Nick, Addle, Cleave. Maybe I was wrong. Slow. Sap. I think Sap is the best. Hit target has disadvantage on next attack before the start. You shoot him in the eye. Well, I guess you could blind them, but you couldn't also deafen them with a single. Slowing as in a poison? That's not a horrible idea. You know what? I think I missed an opportunity here. And for me to prove if it's true or not, I need to go to the top of here. Let's go with Poisoner. I think I missed the obvious here. I didn't say prisoner, I said fucking poisoner. Jackass. Fucking A. I know it fucking exists. Just give me the list of goddamn feats. God. D&D Beyond is just a piece of shit. I really fucking loathe D&D Beyond. It is just trash. They spent so much buying it, they can't afford to make it good. Poisoner, general feat. There we go. Ability score. We don't get one. Potent poison. When you make a damage roll that deals poison damage, it ignores resistance to point. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. The obvious answer here is the poisoner feat and poison and poisoning strike. So let's go find that real quick. Poisoning strike. There we go. 2 point. Second rank. Your weapon can deal poison damage. In addition, the creature is poisoned. The creature can attempt to end the effect by succeeding a Constitution saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Poisoning Strike. Deals poison damage. And target poisoned until save. And the final one is meta power Poisoner feat. So if I take the Poisoner feat with the Poisoning Strike means that my Blow Dart will always deal poison damage, and it will deal, and it causes the poison condition. And we know from the, where'd he go? Get back, Loretta. Thank you. Potent Poison. When you take a damage roll, it deals poison damage. It ignores resistance to poison damage. So, unless you're immune to poison, that Poisoning Strike is going to hurt. And then I can Brew Poison. You gain proficiency in a poison kit with 1 hour. With the metal, you can create a number of poisons doses equal to... You can apply a poison dose to a weapon or piece of ammunition. Once applied, the poison retains its potency for 1 minute or until you deal damage with the poison item, whichever is shorter. When a creature takes damage from the poison item, that creature must succeed a con saving throw. Increases feet, take 2d8 poison damage, and have the poison condition until the end of its next turn. So I'm fine with that. You can just pour serum into your blow dart, and basically any blow dart in there becomes poison. Ignore poison resistance. Make 2d8 poison damage. Prof number of 2d8 poison damage. Doses dealing DC, it would be your channeling DC con save or plus 2d8 poison damage. That's pretty fucking tight. That's a short rest. Alright, that's good as is. Exploit, Maneuver, Strike, Meta Power, 4 powers up to 3rd rank each. We're only using 1st rank. Breath of Salvation. How about Breath of Life and Death? +2. Requires ammunition. Requires attunement. 4 powers, up to 6 mana. Okay, cool. I am content with this. That's it for my day. I'm at noon 05, so I gotta stop my stream, get ready for some brunchies. When we come back next time, that'll be Monday night. We'll probably finish up what we got left. Fellhammer, is that the last item? Maybe we'll add another oh yeah, we also have another piece of armor that we want, the Power Bracer. We need to work on this. And just we'll finish the Fellhammer. We already have our scaffold built. Where'd my power gear? Don't tell me I cut and didn't paste my fucking power gear. Yeah, I think I accidentally erased it. Oh, what a miracle! It's all still fucking here. God, I got lucky. Lucky! We'll put Museum Gear at the end, right before the DM section. There we go. Museum Gear. So, Jesus fucking Christ, Kearney. You're killing me, kid. But yeah, this is fun. This will be a fun little add-on. It's a little quick crafter thingy. I'm playing with the idea of potentially being able to speed up the rate of building magic items by dumping mana into doing so each day. If it's going to be a downtime day anyway, if you were able to throw your entire mana pool into magically creating your shit, you should be able to create things faster than 10 gold pieces per day. I think we can ramp that. I'm just going to have to look at the math a little bit, but I think that's the missing piece. People are like, I want to be able to craft stuff fast so I can just get back on the road, but don't have any resource system in place that can justify expediting the creation of stuff if we're implementing time as a block, a guardian, a roadblock, a stumbling stone, as a barrier from being able to create stuff too quickly. They were trying that with the Bastion crafting point system, but they ended up throwing that away and just giving you items instead. Bastion system's garbage, I'm sorry. It's exciting that they're thinking about the Dominion style play or some way, but they're not. They're not actually thinking about Dominion style play. They're just giving you a place to make magic items with. And I mean, I could bitch about it, but I have in the past, so I'm gonna let it go for now. But the point is that if we're going to craft stuff from Mizzium, which is a magical component that feeds off of mana, then it stands to reason that we would be able to expedite the production of magic gear using Mizzium by burning mana. And the more mana you can throw into something, the faster you can build it. And you can use cooperative magic so that multiple people can chuck mana into crafting the items. So it makes sense that you would have a room full of dwarves all praying to Moradin at the same time while they're beating hammers into armor. Every time they hit it with a hammerfell, they're just punching more mana into that magic item so they can produce it more quickly than any human or mortal ever would be able to. So that's the idea. So we're going to play with that some more on Monday. We'll finish out the gear here, and if that doesn't completely destroy what we do, if that doesn't destroy our time Monday night, then we can get into actually revising the backgrounds for the characters. So we're moving forward. We're on track, but we're making cool discoveries along the way. So this has been time well spent in my mind. The whole Mizzium item stuff, that's just, I can't believe that wasn't more obvious to me in the beginning. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. I'm going to be back Monday morning to continue with Eberron artwork for the adventure we'll be publishing. I'll be back Monday night to continue with the crafting mechanics and creating magic items. And then we'll just continue our week as normal. So like, subscribe. If you're interested in stuff and you have time either available on Monday or Saturday, jump into my Discord. Check out the playtest sign-up invitation. We'll be doing a mega dungeon from level 3 to 10. Old Beckney style of mega dungeon using the mana system that we're building here. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. If you've checked out my past few design streams, you've seen the kind of dungeon stuff that we're building and the faction interaction inside of that environment and the treasure you can extract. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll see you guys there then and later for now. Bye.